Hey everybody, this is Brett, and this morning I'm really smug. And that's because I just helped a Facebook friend that has been complaining of hip and leg and back pain for the last 6 days. And I kept seeing her posts like she's just trying to get some kind of help or sympathy or something, And I'm like, well, why don't you call me? Why don't you call me? And she doesn't. And then on the last post, I'm like, if you had called me a long time ago, I would have helped you and you wouldn't be in pain now. And one of her friends got kind of aggressive with me, and I'm like, look, all the well wishes are fine and dandy, but they're really not doing anything other than like making her feel as though people care about her, but they really don't know how to help her. I'm the one that knows how to help her, and she's not asking me. Well, guess what? Finally this morning, she asked me, and I went live with her on Facebook Messenger, and I showed her how to do this. Whack her leg, find the place where it's connected close to her groin there, and whack that area. Whack her IT band area, and use a softball on her butt muscles on the floor. She found a big softball, a big orange one, put it underneath her butt, and rolled on it and waggled on the floor. And the pain started to get diminished because, and she could tell that she was hitting the exact places that she needed to hit. Okay, so now the mind starts to think, hey, this is really working, and the mind starts to believe that it's going to get better. The whole thing starts to turn in a different direction. So her doctor wanted to give her a pain med that was bad for her kidneys, even though she has kidney problems. Basically, he's like, well, what else are you going to do? Ooh. This is what I mean by medical doctors. They are so freaking lost. They are so freaking greedy. They are so disconnected to natural healing. Okay? And this is just one example of the God knows how many things. Like, for instance, you start to change your diet and then you start to feel sick. And then somebody tells you that you need to do an enema. You know that you've got really bad gas. That's pretty obvious. And maybe you had some diarrhea, this and that. And you really, and it smelled when you took a crap, it really smelled. And you're like, man, I don't know what to do. I feel so sick. And somebody tells you to do an enema. And then you finally do it. You finally get the gumption and you do it. And afterwards, it's like, oh my God, I feel so much better. But what you don't realize is that you still have 10 pounds of mucoid plaque in your digestive system because you've been eating too much gunky, yucky, heavy foods, whatever. And you need to do years and years of this cleansing. But after you start to understand mentally that this is exactly what you need to do, especially like with everything. You cry, and then afterwards you feel so much better. And then you're like, oh my God, I wonder how much more of that pain I have in me. And so for years you cry, you do breath work, and you cry, and you get it out, and it's getting it out. That's what you're doing with all this. It's called cleansing. Cleansing the body by various means, physical means of stretching. After you do all that self-massage, then you stretch. And after you do all that enema, then you drink liquids full of electrolytes and minerals. And then in between, maybe you go out and you sit in the sun. There's all of these different things that you do, and you have to know correct orders, as it doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing has to be perfect in the natural world. You just need a general understanding and a general knowledge of how to get yourself out of pain, how to get yourself out of stink, all these different things. And how to stay nutrient dense enough to get through it all. So thanks so much for joining me. Be sure and join me tomorrow night, or Sunday night. Today's Friday. Isn't it interesting how, like, when you're home, a lot of you may now be able to relate to this. When you're home and there's not any particular agenda too much, you lose track of what day it is. Month, day of the year, month, day of the week, blah, blah, blah. So, I'm sorry if I'm talking a bit too fast, but I get pumped up helping people. I get choked up helping people. Well, thanks for joining me. Thanks for supporting my channel. Thanks for buying my products. Be well.